Cargo shortage claim, soybean cases. China, the world's biggest soy buyer, imported a record volume of soybean in 2013 as the crushing industry continued to expand capacity to meet rising domestic demand for food oil and protein. According to General Administration of Custom, China imported 63.38 million tons of soy in 2013, a rise of 8.6% from 2012. United States is China's biggest soy supplier, followed by Brazil and Argentina. The soy trade across the Pacific creates huge logistic demand. It needs more than 1,000 hand-size and handymax ships, the most widely used bulk carrier with a DWT range from 35,000 to 60,000 tons to carry those cargoes from America to China's coast. In the past decade, we have handled many cases where the cargo receiver claimed for short delivery, and China's maritime court have developed different opinions regarding how to decide upon those claims. Shortage claims are normally based on a comparison of CIQ draft survey or shore scale figure and bill of lading figure, which was usually ascertained by shore scale at the port of loading. The difficulties start at the port of loading. It is widely known by the shipping industry that in some areas, such as Argentina and Brazil and certain notorious ports like Constanta in Romania, shippers and/or custom would insist on bills of lading and sometimes makes receipt being issued based on the shore figures. For instance, under Argentine law, the shippers are entitled to choose whether to use shore scale or a draft survey to ascertain outturn quantities of import cargoes. In practice, master will be in dilemma when shipper pressed to insert in the bill of lading shore scale figures, and these are higher than the figures ascertained by draft survey. If he accepted the shore figure, it would be likely the owner will encounter cargo shortage claim and vessel detainment at the port of discharge. If he refused, it was highly likely her vessel would be immediately detained at the port of loading. Therefore, as a compromise, the master usually will accept the shore figure and issue letter of protest at the same time. And sometimes, in order to settle the issue, the ship and cargo interests may jointly invite an independent surveyor to conduct an additional draft survey at the port of loading. Upon vessel's arrival at Chinese port, the discharge quantity would be ascertained by China Entry-Exit Inspection and Quarantine Bureau (CIQ) surveyors either through draft survey or shore scale. Cargo shortage claim would arise when the bill of lading figure was higher than the CIQ figure, which bears heavy evidential effect in the eyes of Chinese maritime court. Some courts, such as Guangdong Court, has held owners liable for 0.5% shortage of bill of lading figure, which can be reasonably recognized as unaffordable inaccuracy of the draft survey, while Shanghai Maritime Court and other courts generally accept the owner's 0.5% inaccuracy defense. Claim, defense, and the court position. Claim and evidence. As before mentioned, the shortage claim is based on the CIQ draft survey. Figures is less than the bill of lading figure. The claim would be the difference between the two figures, which range from 0,312% to 1,500% of the bill lading quantity according to the case summary table. Therefore, with respect to the carriage of 60,000 empty soybean at the price of about $600 per ton, a normal claim amount would be about 0.11 to 0.56 million US dollar. Cargo quantity clause. Usually, it is agreed as 60,000 metric ton, 10% more or less at seller's option and at contract premium, and weight to be final as per certificate issued by FOSFA or GAFTA, approved independent surveyor at buyer's option at the port of loading to be final and strictly binding on both parties. Cargo quality clause. Usually, it is agreed as quality to be final as per certificate issued by Contecna or Scutter or other FOSFA approved surveyors at port of loading to be final and strictly binding on both parties. Payment clause. The payment is usually effected through letter of credit, and the final amount payable under the L per C is often interrelated with the bill of lading quantity, CBOT future price, cargo quality tested by FOSVA, approved laboratory, and interest rate agreed by the parties. Weight certificate. At port of loading, soybean are usually loaded by conveyor belt and normally cargo quantity will be ascertained by weighing of the cargo on automatic scale. Weight certificate will be issued proving that the weighing process was superintended by the FOSFA or GAFTA approved surveyor as agreed. Certificate of quality. Cargo will also be sampled by the agreed FOSFA's approved surveyor for testing quality. The item of test include protein, oil content, moisture, and etc. The certificate of quality normally show the sampling method and seal number of samples, test item, method, and result. The moisture content is usually tested according to AOCS. Defense and evidence. Owners would usually rebut the shortage claim for four defense. Firstly, CIQ figure is inaccurate between the ship constant in abnormal in comparison with other datum of previous and after voyage. Secondly, the cargo is in short discharge because the accuracy of draft survey is 0.5% and the shortage is actually different in measurement. Thirdly, the cargo is short-loaded at the port of loading according to draft survey conducted by the ship site and/or independent surveyor. Fourthly, the shortage is resulting from inherent vice of the cargo that moisture would evaporate and dry content would reduce during the voyage. Normally, evidence can be adduced by the owners as follows. Survey report issued by the P&I surveyor, document collected on board by the P&I surveyor, mates receipt, cargo manifest, shortage plan, draft survey report issued by independent surveyor at the port of loading, ship's particulars, letter of protest, draft survey report issued by P&I surveyor at the port of discharge.